So I just ended a wedding, and somehow or another everybody seems like they have all their lives figured out. Every day I see on social media people are getting married, they bought their first home, and then there's just me, which is like some ordinary person with no entrepreneurial drive. I just feel a little bit stuck, and I just want to help people who are in the same similar situation as me. So today's video, I just to share with you a little bit of how I overcome it. So do you actually often ask yourself about what are you doing with your life? What's going on? Why are you feeling like this? And this is what I would deem as a quarter life crisis. Granted, I'm only closing to 30, so a quarter life might not be the most accurate. I started feeling a little bit lost after university when there's no longer any structure, and that's all where all my doubts and anxieties start to kick in. Am I on the right path? Am I behind? Whatever choices that I make actually impacts the future, and you actually question who you are and what you are doing. So 2025 has been one of the toughest years of my life. It's a whole new ball game that I had to figure out. At the start of the year, my health took a big dive. I had to visit the hospital every 2 to 3 days for checks. Thankfully, I'm fine. Both of my dogs passed away. I attended a lot of weddings, but at the same time, a lot of funerals as well. And I also left my job. Every single day I see about people posting about how they have achieved FIRE by 30. And I decided to not go on that path so soon. Right now, I'm taking a break to figure out what is the next step. But at the same time, it's also a little bit about how to navigate uncertainty, learning how to deal with the unknown, and taking the time to actually spend time with my family and friends. I realized that when I was working a 9 to 5 job, I didn't really have time to spend with my parents, because my parents are semi-retired. They would like to go on trips, quite impromptu, and most of the time being in corporate, you don't really have too much leave to be spending on 5 or 6 trips in a year. And so this gives me the opportunity to do it. That's one of the most enlightening things that I can feel or have felt so far, which is the ability to just travel as and when I want with my family and friends. And it has been a pretty rewarding experience so far. Being free from the 9 to 5 rat race has really taught me a lot of things. I always thought when I was 18 I would have my life figured out by now. I knew that I wanted to go to university, get a white-collar job in corporate, and just climb the ladder. But I remember very clearly sitting down outside Marina Bay Centre, open air at Black Tap, and I said to myself that, hey, I don't mind actually working in the CBD area for the rest of my life, just doing a desk job. But after going through the typical school route, polytechnic, army, university, I somehow landed a job in corporate banking, even though I was an engineer for my whole life. So what I did was actually I just sent out my resume to all the different banks, and I actually got multiple calls and interviews, and out of like 5 different interviews I got 4 job offers. Salary was pretty good for a fresh grad, benefits was amazing, I was learning and I feeling like I could be there for the rest of my life. I had 21 days of annual leave. I could travel about 3 to 4 times every single year to overseas country that I've not been to with those adult money that I've earned. And roughly 1 year in, I realized how mundane my life was. I just felt like I was not fulfilled. Every single day I was looking for the weekend, and every weekend was so short, and I dread Mondays. So I wasn't really living, I was pretty much surviving. And that moment hit me when I realized, can I really keep doing this for the rest of my life? At that point of time I was 27, so assuming that I retire at 65, that's another extra about 38 years of my life that I would be sloughing away. I couldn't take it. I knew that that was not the life for me. I was in a role for about 3 years before I called it quits, and I've been away from my job for the last 6 months. I could be somewhere if I continued, maybe switch banks, get another job in another institution, but I just felt like life for corporate is not really for me. That success that I envisioned at 18, climbing the corporate ladder, does not give me the sense of fulfillment that I thought it would have. Corporate game is not something which I enjoy playing. The team that I was with is pretty small, and it's a parent who knew how to play the game right. Even though you contribute twice as much as somebody else, you might not be rewarded the same way that you think you might have. My advice to you is, if you would love to stay in that and thrive in that area, do actually learn how to play the corporate game. Please your boss and make your boss like you. If you are someone who really dislike that, maybe corporate is not for you, but in order to thrive, it's actually quite mandatory. Knowing how to play the game will get you far. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've seen it with people who are far less experienced, but they thrive better even though they do lesser work. And that's also the reason why I resigned with no backup plans. I'm saying this not because it applies to me, but also some of you out there. I personally feel that societal pressure has been placed on myself, and I'm always comparing myself on social media. The status and the achievement of others that I often question myself. Why can't I have that? Why can't I be better than somebody else? They always say that comparison is the thief of joy. So how do you get out of this? Truth be told, I'm also not sure. But all I know is that I will continue to think of what my ideal plan on a higher level and purpose is, and then maybe just start working it out from there step by step. That's also the reason why I started content creation again, because I always had the dream to be a content creator ever since I was a kid. So next is probably the hardest one, is to stop comparing and to start living. Look at things from a bigger picture instead of just scrutinizing everything. When I look at myself, I think that I am not the best, but I am definitely not doing the worst as well. Yes, there are people richer, there are more people successful than me, but I'm sure that my achievement that I set for myself in terms of financial freedom, like having $100,000 investable by the age of 30, has been actually achieved. So maybe ask yourself, what do you want to do that excites me? What is worth my time and effort to fight and not dread every day waking up? Once you figure that out, maybe you can take actionable steps to work towards your goal in a more bite-sized manner. If your goal is to start a business, maybe research 1 to 2 hours a day, get products, live streams, talk to suppliers, and how do you fulfill your logistics platform? You think you need clarity, but actually all you need is motion. Probably just need to start, and then motion will take you somewhere. Apply for jobs that you are unsure about, take that trip that you actually always wanted to, and start the project that you actually always wanted. Each door that closes or opens teaches you something that might potentially bring you somewhere in the future, and revealing that map will help you gain some form of clarity. Starting this journey again to actually document my life on how I'm navigating this part of my life. I wanted to step away from the rat race and actually experience life in some way that I might never get to in the future. So come along with me in this journey to actually experience what I'm experiencing of unstable income and allowing to navigate my finances to be status quo as well. The basis of my channel has always been the same. Financial freedom is actually possible for an average Joe earning an average salary. Don't deny that I've made great returns over the past 5 years due to the bull market. And for those who haven't caught this bull market, don't worry. There might still be room for more. Even if a dip happens, you can actually use that to your advantage to build wealth for the next 10, 20 years. So I will share next time a little bit on how to build wealth when it comes to market crashes. And so it's actually very possible for you to reach FIRE by the age of maybe 35, 40. If let's just say you just know how to invest well, be smart about your money, be prudent and save up. Fresh grads who are struggling to find a new job nowadays, don't worry too much about starting this financial journey. Focus a little bit more on securing your first job. Pick up the good habits when you have the chance to. That will allow you to go far. If you find this video useful and somehow you are in the same situation as me and fate somehow lands this video on your For You page right in front of you, I thank you for watching this video to the end, and do reach out below if you need any help, and I will see you in the next one.